Good afternoon. This is the end of Leg 19 of an around the world flight. I took off from Macao around 4 this morning, and we're about to land at Tsushima Airport on Tsushima Island. This island is located midway in the Korean Strait between South Korea and mainland Japan. Right now we're waiting to intercept the Localizer. I have heading hold on the autopilot, and the ILS is tuned in to nav 1. It's already picked up the signal. We're just waiting for the needle to start moving so I can switch to Localizer using the autopilot selector now. Right now I have altitude hold on. As soon as we intercept the Localizer, I'm going to middle click on that same autopilot selector now and start the final descent. Right now we're at 3,000 feet, which is the altitude for beginning final descent. A little bit about Tsushima Island. I don't know a lot, I just looked this stuff up, but apparently it's been a key strategic point at various points throughout Japan's history. It used to be one island, was divided into two in the mid-1600s. They built a canal, and then after the Sino-Russo War, the Japanese felt that Russia was going to attack them again, and so built another canal that divided it into three. It was considered controversial at the time because the economy technically couldn't afford it, but strategically it paid off for them because it allowed them to crush the Russian fleet in 1900 that tried to invade them. So the strategery worked for them. The island is part of Nagasaki province, and per Japanese mythology was one of the 8 original islands created by the Shinto deities Izanagi and Izanami. Don't have much else to talk about right now. Just waiting to intercept that ILS signal. I also have there's an on-airport VOR, and I have that tuned into nav 2, so these two needles should start moving about the same time, and it'll let me know when to begin turning and intercepting them. Yay! And the interesting thing about this, if people want to know about flying this Aero 3 long distances, the key to doing long distances is making a strong climb, getting to altitude as quick as you can, around 9,000 to 10,000 feet, and managing your prop RPM and mixture to maximize your distances. There is a flight computer. You press Shift F5 to bring it up. And right now you can see my remaining range is 80 nautical miles because I've used 69.5 gallons of fuel. The usable fuel on this plane is 72 gallons. So this is pretty much reaching the limits to how far this plane can fly. And this shows me a fuel full of 9 gallons. Well, if I use the G100, press the nav button, I'm going to do Shift 9 to bring the window up. 3, 4, 5 times. This shows the actual flow with the tenths and how much more fuel is required to end the flight. Like this says I need 1 more gallon, so I'm going to have about 1.5 to spare by the time I touch down. And what I'll usually do, I'll get to altitude and adjust my mixture as I'm coming down to make sure this EGT gauge, this needle here, is as high as it will go. And then once you reach your altitude for cruise, you drop your prop RPM, which shows here, to 2,200. And once that's set, bring your throttle down to adjust your fuel flow to maximize your distance, which you can see in your endurance and range windows. And then down here we'll tell you actually how long it's going to take to get there. Bum, bum, bum. Let's turn those back off. I could have flown the GPS auto approach, but I wanted to use the ILS this time. I've used GPS a bunch on this. I don't think I need to this time. I just have the map up to show me a general idea of where I am. Ooh, loud noises. The autopilot selector knob over here is nav. If I were going to intercept nav 2, that's where I would set it, or Omni, either one. Those both use the same VOR signal. The middle one is heading. You need to have heading hold this knob turned on for that to work. And this next knob, the next one over, is going to be my ILS localizer. And the last one is localizer reverse course if you wanted to come in the same runway from the opposite way using the same ILS signal. So I'll be switching this to ILS localizer shortly. Oh, I need to get stuff ready for landing. Let's turn on the fuel pump, landing lights, and I'll kick on flaps once I turn and have to start worrying about the descent. Like I said, I already have mixture and props full forward, and those are requirements for landing. Interestingly, inside the plane, if you zoom in down here beneath the fuel gauges, is a landing checklist, which is pretty cool. Fuel on. I forgot this set to auto switch between tanks for now. Select your fuel pump, your mixture's rich, propeller set. Not turning gear down until I turn. Flaps down when I turn also, and air conditioner's off. Boom, boom, up, outside. Let's get back to that. Turn should be coming up pretty quick. Yeah, I changed the heading just a little bit. Start moving. There we go. And we're intercepting the localizer now. Yay! Now I just need to wait for the vertical needle to activate. This plane uses Auto Control 3B, which does not officially have an altitude component, so you have to manage altitude yourself. So let's go ahead and turn that off by middle clicking on this. Altitude hold's disabled. And now I get to manage my descent. Flaps in 1. Because right now I'm a little high. There we go. I had the wrong thing selected, it looks like. Yeah, I had it on nav 2 instead of nav 1. Oops. Nobody's perfect. easy way. Increase throttle to get my descent stopped. It's now going too low. Looks like this only has a localizer component, not a vertical one for the ILS at this runway. Judging by this nav1 viewer gauge. There we go. Back on glide slope almost. Red and dead yet. Get a little high. We can cut throttle just about now. Cut off the autopilot. Come a little to the right. Try and get back on center because it didn't keep me on center like it should have. That's okay. And we're on the ground. Wait for the flight log window to come up. Go park. And as you can see, this flight took 10 hours and 16 minutes. That's it. Have a good night.